As a left tackle, do you agree that rookie quarterbacks ought to play right away or no?
Well, JB, Fred, I think that when you look at rookies that are exceptional, you have to put them on the field. Very rarely do you see rookies have the minerals basically to outplay experience, which is a lot of times what is needed to have success in this game. But when you got a guy that's exceptional, that understands the huddle, that can command leaders basically, I'm talking about guys that have been in that huddle for 5, 10 years, that's an exceptional talent that must see the field immediately. Well, no, the Tennessee Titans, if you think about what they've been able to do, switching out of the top 10 pick back into the top 10 pick and grabbing a Jack Conklin, passing on Laramie Tunsil a couple of times. Here's a draft, I think, that when you look at what they've been able to grab in the second round, the Heisman Trophy winner from this year, Derrick Henry, coupled with Austin Johnson, and, of course, Kevin Dodd, who are tremendous forces on the defense. I'd say they made out like fat rats, JB.
Wow. As you assess teams from last year that were just maybe a cusp away from having the kind of season they wanted, which teams do you think this year will be the biggest surprise teams?
JB, the Sheriff has ridden off into the sunset with Trigger, which basically makes the AFC West wide open. So I like the Oakland Raiders actually to be the surprise team this year. When you look at Carl Joseph, who I thought was a tremendous acquisition in the back end to replace a Charles Woodson, along with Khalil Mack, they've got the defense shoring up. And, of course, Derek Carr and Amari Cooper have done a phenomenal job of being big play threats for any defense. So I like the way the Oakland Raiders have actually kind of snuck up on things in the West.
Well, his nemesis, Tom Brady, on the other side, has to worry about a #1 defense in the Denver Broncos, and they can bring it from a lot of different areas.
Absolutely. They've got some great guys in the back end. We saw what they did in free agency, bringing in Aqib Talib and T.J. Ward. But they've got some tremendous pass rushers in DeMarcus Ware and, of course, Von Miller that know exactly what that backfield looks like. So Tom Brady's going to have to get that football out of his hands immediately for them to win.
Never got his feet back underneath him.
Brandon Bolden, the guy that was very little used this year. Obviously, he's in the lineup because of injury. Great coming out of the backfield, shows his versatility coming down the sideline. We'll see what the call is right here.
After the runner was down, personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 43, led with the helmet, half the distance to the goal.
That's right, Scott, unnecessary roughness. You can see right here, Brandon Bolden actually trying to stay on his feet there. T.J. Ward just comes in just a little too late, trying to be a little too aggressive, helmet-to-helmet contact. That's going to result in a flag every single time, Scott.
On 3rd down and 9, Manning can't get it there for Demaryius Thomas, and if Thomas can't go up and get it, I'm not sure who can.
Yeah, he's been trying to find Demaryius Thomas for a better part of the day, but you can see that double coverage is something that he's going to see a lot because he is a go-to guy.
They get some offensive momentum going against this Denver defense.
Absolutely, they can. They've been trying to establish the running attack because they know that that pass rush is something that they're going to have to contend with. But if they can run the football consistently, we saw Steven Jackson get into the end zone late there. Short yardage distances will allow them to be able to stay on the field and keep the ball out of Peyton Manning's hands.
Play action. Von Miller, nearly a sack.
Both those guys, Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, standing up right there on the rush. Spin moves in ISO right there are not good for offensive linemen.
Now on 2nd down. It's Miller again. This time in coverage, and the interception puts the Broncos in the red zone.
Rob Gronkowski is the most dangerous guy on the football field, and you can see when the pressure comes, Scott, he's trying to find that guy he's most familiar with. Von Miller knows the exact same thing. He drops back into coverage and makes a great play. Yeah, Miller's hands right here. If you see him, he almost dropped that ball, but great gloves that they have nowadays, Scott. I think you can catch anything.
I'll tell you what, he was in the backfield on the last play, and now dropping back in the flat in coverage on the next play. He is a defensive force.
Tremendous play by that young man. Obviously, he's been doing his homework, knowing where Brady wants to go with the football. He drops back into coverage, showing his pass coverage skills, comes up with a big turnover for the Broncos.
3rd down and manageable to get to the 6.
Absolutely. They've been trying to keep this thing right there in the middle of the football field, trying to find creases in that 8-man box. They stay out of 3rd and long situations, which will allow this to be more manageable for Peyton Manning in the group. This is where Peyton thrives right here. A guy that can control the defense with his mind, with his eyes. That's right, Chip. We're at Sports Authority in Mount Laurel. Today we're talking about the new rule, talking about chop blocks. And to further that discussion, Jeff Swartz, offensive lineman for the Detroit Lions, was cool enough to give us some of his time. Jeff, the new rule, how do you think that will affect the game itself?
Well, it'll change the running game for sure.
Jeff, how do you think that this rule will affect you personally?
I think it's going to change my technique. I've been in the league for going on 9 years now, and I've always done things a certain way because that's the way it's been done. It's going to take me some time to adjust and learn, and obviously I have to comply with the rule that they've enforced.
I saw you looking at those kayaks over there, and I'm sure that there are Speedos on sale too. So we're going to send it right back to you, Chip. One rule change for the 2016 season is the elimination of all 2-man chop blocks or combo plays. The goal is to reduce knee injuries to defensive linemen. Last year, If a defensive player was engaged with an offensive lineman, he could be blocked low by another player in certain situations. This year, if a player is engaged, any low block by another offensive player will result in a penalty. Now, one-on-one chop blocks are still legal. Teams like Denver and Seattle, which feature zone blocking schemes, will still use one-on-one cut blocking, as will teams that feature quick passing packages. As a former offensive lineman, I understand the attempt for player safety. But engagement can be a broad term, making the right call difficult. A simple hand of the defender on his way to the next level could result in flags being thrown with no true engagement having been established, thus making offensive linemen and officials' jobs much more difficult.